Tashidele to all the Dharma friends and the Sangha members in all of your countries around the world.
Welcome everyone. We will begin today's meditation session with a prayer in the yellow prayer book, starting on page 9. We already did the opening prayers this morning before Jayana's class, and we'll start this session on page 9. Namo. To the Guru, the utter purity of all appearance and existence, I offer all appearance and existence arisen as the primordial ground. I supplicate you, may the three realms be completely liberated. Please grant blessings to empty samsara from its depths. Lord, with 5 omniscient wisdoms, crown ornament, kind one with loving nature, precious protector of beings, heart of all Buddhas, inexpressible by words or thought, I supplicate you from the core of my mind. Bless me from within the state of Dharmapata. Bless me to realize this mind primordially pure and unborn as the unfathomable Dharmakaya.
Tangwado jatare jo givenge sole roje cheto to chojo ba chiro sapsalo tonu jo la do labala rado yenga damba yo de ya gede lo ya san sa lo do je ya de tere na lo ma ba mi la che ya mo pamo de ba ja wan do mo ko jo lo ma no so ande ko mi chi ya ba 다가 사제가 장고 원하나 생각한 거서 도제 박사회라 매셔라서 들이들이 주로는 바다 하는 거서 곰자야래 에세 곰자시마데 책길이 있는 데니 있다 은혜 지나더니 그런데 그런 빠져올 못지 자성데 그래서 은혜들 생모다지 생모다 mengangam에 들이 쪼가지 지송 숨말에 들이 제보씀 좀 말을 또고 줘도 랑그 셈을 거 따가요리 랑그 셈을 요 따르들이 용디 가래요리 되는 들이 셈그는 들이 라상쪽 셈을 쏘아데 되는 랑그 셈그 랑거다 탐지랑 무시에도 요바 삼지 그 당내들이 삼지를 따고 된 거다 따고 셈그대로 통고요리 samti dina sambat semi ba kena dina sama tabeng koyore zambo chupa mona ten sansung koyore dina kula chapa sambata kato osong dini tamdo ta semji ta kemo yinba dina ni semji ba so tamdo uneti dina semji ba re dina sambat semi ba ka dina 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 tawa yang taba hako yore dina toni na ramanda yore dina tata sambat semi ba ka yezong dina ngasi 랑그 세고 내려다리 랑그 세고는 삼바디 토니 이 냠발 조고
So Dharma friends, we're going to meditate today. And so this term meditation is a certain concept in our mind, but then what it actually is, Garchen Rinpoche had said, look at the nature of your mind. So actually the nature of the mind doesn't have a name or some kind of concept. So Chikchen Songkyen, therefore, he also said that to realize the for being untouched by the three great ones, so the three kind of views, is the supreme realization of one's mind. And what are the qualities of looking at the mind when we meditate? So it is also said in a prayer, I supplicate to the Guru that is bodhicitta. So when we look at our mind in meditation, what we all can understand is this feeling of love. So love is must be there as a basis. And then on the basis of this state of boundless, immeasurable love, one then looks at the natural state of the mind. When you first cultivate immeasurable love, then the mind becomes all-pervasive. And so, for example, that's also mentioned in the prayer for excellent conduct that we are having teachings on recently. So it says in there that the one power that is all-pervasive is the power of love. And that is also why the refuge and the motivation prayers are so precious and important. It's because the actual refuge is actually the motivation of bodhicitta. The actual refuge is love. So therefore, we meditate on the basis of immeasurable love. And if you meditate on the basis of immeasurable love, then you will understand the natural state of the mind really as it is. Otherwise, we can get all sorts of understandings when it comes to emptiness. So the foundation that we establish is one of immeasurable love. And then within that state, all we need to do is just rest in a natural state.
무슨 체마탐 제 대성자가 제말라리 바게 송무더니 데리다다 사지가 염주 시합대 파라도 선바서 시합대 파라도 선바라더니 자체모 뜻하고 요래 로망불을 하고 요래 이 강의들 마도 록도 소도 성도왕도 최송은 신지 저보왕도 송어들이 되다 된것도 봤어요 봐라 이제 송도 요래 동물강리 내lok도 파랄로 시합사발로는 내서 그래다가 벌써 그래다가 로동 근육 벌써 대 갑자기 벌써 네 동바 이게 소바시는 제일 좀 벌써 껴서 말이 벌써 쪽라서 봐서 얘는 내lok도 파랄로 시합사발로는 이제 내lok도 간거 랑그 생거 내록 대성 이렇게 책기가 다 줘봐 랑그생고랑그 지지고 네 띠를 배배쳐야 돼. 많이 막아 손이 들이금지 로지는 양게 양명아서 그나가 송로래 까서 사침보래 이렇게 태동석에 제라 강성은 내lok도나 투바공은 내에서 다 투성은 탈신들이 탈선받에 딱하래 내lok도 고래에서 내가 세면 내가 세면 때는 파는 이런 거 시켜보죠. 다른 거 세쪽으로 딱 잡아나래. 그리저랑 거 세면 다들이 심모다들이 다다 이슬레라서 바탕만 보선 거를 내가 세고 내로 그때 심쿵 내로 또 강의들 다다 심쿵이 시바테 생문이지 내 가디는 내 봐야 요래 마음과는 다다야 요래 들이 또 장든 저밤에 봐서 너또 되면 되게 너또 하고네 들이 되라 너또 하고 가지 딱할게 그러더니 들이 따위에 다 좋지 들이 선타 따위에 줘봐 곰뱅이 앞서는 말이야 들이 대치부 대송 접전에 되게 남도 탐지 식고 요래 대하고를 남도 식들은 봐 요래 남도 식들이 코아도 남도 오서 요래 코아는 남도 식스는 변 세상 쳐보다 남도 세상이 지금 매발성들 내가 저 말에 삐때다 그러지 놈이 싫은 줄서 그래서 고베 냠설에 봐니 유비엔 타는도 많이 좀 다 하고니 망보 요래 고베 냠설에 망보 요래 이 쪼바라세 토고 요는 아니 담지 쪼바라세는 쪼람들이 세트테키 쳔보 요래 곰 냠바 담지 쪼람세 테 광고 요래 요런 세트세 뭐가 가르치 나도 남레 샤나 당모시 들이 바르테 나서 토마피미 노미는 로고에 나도 초당 랍전들 나고 초당 차롱제도 차대요래 근데 바르 초당 랍전들 저 담아 잡소 들이 처를 먹다고 해서 처를 먹어 봐들 저와들 야라트 냥서 나도 샤마타들 함지게 맥돌하고 torto 봐 들이 세분에로 통따리 그것들이 동네를 줘들이 대화서 동네니가 남도리 대도서 같은 추가 대화 좀 보죠 이 추tam게 다다 말한다고 좀한다고 통되게 왜 세부터 통하요 때려뜨리는 레다 박 차탐들을 돌네 무슨 추가 대화 좀 보시 봐게 뭐냐 요리 그때 막뭐 투요에 대한 공격을 감내를 못 맞으나 양 가서 싸워 양 막뭐 요리 애들이 내가 싸움을 또 다시로 따고 semlo 따는 가리 나도 강식 시비게 시바사로 대리 무슨 좀 대리 대리 상축 셈단들 사바체미던 들리더니 사바체미 예수님들이 아주 가서 무슨 거래 그때는 광건하시라 사바다 막다와 요래 뜻들이 다다 공자 고
In the new tantric system, for instance, there's one accomplished master, Mahasiddha, who is truly authentic, and there is no doubt about his realization. That is Milarepa. And so he said something that corresponds with the actual words of the Buddha, according to the Prajnaparamita, the perfection of wisdom. The Prajnaparamita text actually is a body of teachings that is extremely vast and profound. It takes many years to study it. And the reason why we do it is because sentient beings are controlled by many misunderstandings and partial understandings and completely wrong understandings and so on. So sentient beings are controlled by many confusions in their mind. So these teachings are given in order to recognize that confusion. So what Milarepa said then in relation to this teaching on the perfection of wisdom, Milarepa gave himself a teaching on the 10 paramitas, the 10 perfections, teaching them to Gendun Lodun. And so Milarepa gave teachings on the 6 or 10 paramitas, and so in this context it was 10 paramitas. And regarding the 7th paramita, he had said that aside from realizing the natural state, there is no other perfection of wisdom than that. So what's the natural state? The natural state is the nature of your mind. And actually just based on this one statement, one can already understand, really gain the certainty on why we need to meditate. We can decide everything just based on that statement, really. And then in comparison to that, so Milarepa was from the new tantric system. Then in the old tantric system, the omniscient master Longchen Rabcham had said in the Treasury of Pith Instructions, or the Mengazu, he said that if you have realized the natural state, no higher, no greater learning is necessary. And again, this corresponds precisely to what Milarepa had said, and also with the actual teachings of the Buddha, and just really clarifies the actual intent. So he was someone who had actually perfected learning, reached the furthest limits of it, and realized that the highest learning is really to realize the nature of your mind, to really trust in that. And when you come to a conclusion and you know that this is the nature of the mind, then you have understood that this is the only thing that is really necessary to do, that we have to recognize. It's just to recognize the nature of the mind. So that's why the simple instruction is, look at the nature of your mind. And then in order to do that, there are many different methods, such as shamatha, or calm abiding meditation. But mainly, these practices all are to see the nature of the mind. And that nature of the mind is really your clear awareness, the conscious, cognizing awareness. That's the true nature of the mind. And that awareness has always been here in all past times, and it will always be here in the future, and it's here right now. And therefore, because of its unchanging nature, it is often given the name the unchanging Vajradhara. So this clear awareness is the awareness that recognizes whatever thoughts arise in your mind, whatever emotions arise. And then once you recognize the thoughts, what are you supposed to do next? So first you recognize the thought. And so also it is said, first you have to recognize, you have to decide upon the view or the natural state of the mind. And then you have to gain experience in meditation, in habituating to that. So first you recognize the thoughts, and then you have to let those thoughts go. You have to eliminate these thoughts and afflictive emotions. And when you eliminate them, then you recognize the great power in your mind. And then what you recognize is that samsara, cycle of existence, is created by these thoughts, by these afflictive emotions. For example, when you get really angry and then you let go of it and the anger dissolves, then you are not accumulating karma at all. Then the afflictive emotion has transformed into primordial awareness. So this is something that has to be experienced through meditation practice. And then once you have gained some experience, most importantly, that experience has to be brought into your daily life, all of your activities. Because there are a lot of people who do understand the view or the nature of the mind, and there are also many people who practice meditation, but there's not many people, including myself, who actually bring this experience of meditation into their daily lives and actually apply it there. And that's actually most important. We have to kind of mix, we have to merge the meditation with our daily life, with all our activities. So this is how it is explained in the old and in the new tantric systems. But basically, it's the same in that we have to meditate and we have to bring the meditation into our daily conduct. And so to do that, we first recognize those thoughts in our mind. There's all kinds of thoughts constantly arising in our mind, and we first have to recognize them. And then once you recognize them, they have to become liberated into their natural state, or dissolve into themselves. And then once they have dissolved, you just rest within the innate nature of the mind. So then the thoughts come and go just like waves on water. So actually first, it's more like the mind is more like ice, a block of ice. And then later, as you practice, it becomes more like a wave in water. And in the end, it becomes like the vast ocean, or thoughts become like images drawn on water. The moment you draw it, the image already disappears. So the drawing and the disappearance happen simultaneously. And so likewise, once you have habituated to meditation, the dissolution of thoughts occurs simultaneous with their arising, which means they dissolve effortlessly on their own. And that is when they dissolve into the natural state. And when that happens, that is a sign of having seen the nature of the mind. And so what we need to recognize is that everything is just our thought, our own mind. Whether it is happiness, whether you feel happy, that is just a thought in your mind. Or when you're sad and suffer, that's a thought in your mind. When you realize that, then you realize the greatly blissful Dharmakaya nature that is the true nature of your mind. And when you see that, then you will perceive all phenomena, all appearances, like a dream or like an illusion. And even if you don't see it exactly that way, but you realize them to be that way. So then that is the point where all karmic imprints, those habitual tendencies, become liberated. When these become liberated through recognition, then you experience the greatly blissful Dharmakaya. And that is actually the true nature of the mind. It is greatly blissful. It is a blissful state. And it is just that we haven't seen that. It's always with us. So many people know that because people have learned about that. But then the problem is that there's also many people who do not habituate that. They do not always practice that. And that is why thoughts arise again. So what's most important is just look at your mind. And what are you supposed to do when you look at your mind? Just recognize the thoughts, whatever arises in your mind, with clear awareness. And this awareness is Samantabhadra. And as we mentioned before, meditation arises from the foundation, the basis of bodhicitta, of immeasurable love. So first we develop that and then rest within that state and recognize whatever arises. And eventually then you will recognize your true awareness. So it's important that this understanding arises on the basis of love. So actually when you recognize awareness, you will naturally always remain inseparable from love. So now we are going to meditate in this way.
대대 장다다 그것도 좀 혼란나 책 통통 저거 싸보 요래 그것도 좀 혼란데 참아 잡혀와 하고 그래 강성 dream이 답변만 봐 상제는 어떻게나 검자고 들배 셈서 검자랑 그 셈을 따고 상들이 셈서 들린다고 가서 하고 차들이 dream이 답변만 봐 상제 들이 뒤시 대비 시랍 대집번 무슨 거 때렸대나 이제는 나도 내방가 망바 마치 대입받는 참나들이 니서도 배시바 당들이 니디 매바 센창으리 이제 어쨌든 매바가 차고 가미 이 양당도 고시는 들이 데는 남과다고 차오네 다 님의 독상 과다고 들이 샤르들이 따오네 지대 님의 독상은 들이 다다 나기 니도 sabia 들이 거 같은 성거리 다 생은 이미 독 많이 벌써 로마 변전이요 당연히 적일이 봐 생이 이제 되지 말이야 들기나 봐나 저절 때문에 맞다도 돌아서 저 적심지 요데 생문이들이 첫상만 하기들 님의 독산 하고는 들이 다왜 다 주서만 뒤들어 다 줘래 들이 고배만 좀 거래 들이 다다 들은 것도 니서는 배시바 땅지대 니즘에 bestemte
There's one line in the Samantabhadra prayer that is very short but very clear, that many of you know about because the Samantabhadra prayer is widely known. And so in there it says that unmindfulness, the darkness, the thick darkness of unmindfulness is cleared away. So just this line actually. So for example, you think, today I am going to meditate. My mind is so clear today. And when I meditate, I will look at my mind. So then you sit there, you look at your mind and you recognize the thoughts that arise. And then remember this line, like deep darkness, all unmindfulness is cleared away. So it's this mindfulness that is looking and recognizes those thoughts is what clears away this deep darkness of unmindfulness. So when there's recognition, darkness is cleared away, and then you just continue to rest within that clear state. And so then as you stay resting in meditation, then sometimes there is this moment where all thoughts stop. And also all thoughts of the past have stopped. There's no thought, and no next thought, no future thought has arisen. So sometimes there is this space of no thought, and this is when you can recognize the non-dual nature of the mind. Then the experience becomes completely non-dual, just like space. There is no thought, no fixation at all within your mind. And then once you recognize that moment, then you continue to try to continue to stay within that state over and over again, continuously. It is a space-like state of an experience of non-duality. So that is the first kind of knowledge that arises within you. And that is the actual view, which is the natural state of your mind. It is that state of non-duality. Normally, ordinarily, it is because we believe that self and other exist separately as a duality. That belief is what actually creates samsara. So when you look at that space of no thoughts in your mind, what you first recognize is that there is no delineation between self and other. For example, if there is two disciples, two friends together, you look at each other. So we have two bodies, which is why we think that there is two. But actually, our true nature of mind fundamentally is one and the same. There is no delineation at all. And it's just that due to temporary circumstances, various karmas, that we appear distinctly in the 6 realms of samsara, such as humans and animals and so on. But the true nature of the mind is actually like completely pure, clean water. So that is what you understand when you meditate. And once you have gained certainty in that, then you have to just continue on in it. Then you continue to abide, sustain that state of recognition through habituation. That is meditation. So then remember this line from the Samantabhadra prayer, that deep darkness of unmindfulness is cleared away. Mindfulness clears away dualistic thoughts. Dualistic thinking is cleared away. So when we meditate, what we have to recognize is just this, the non-dual mind. We're going to read the Samantabhadra prayer for dedication.
In the blue prayer book on page 40. Ho, everything, appearance and existence, samsara and nirvana, has a single ground, yet two paths and two fruitions, and magically displays as awareness or unawareness. Through Kundin Sampo's prayer, may all beings become Buddhas, completely perfected in the abode of the Dharmadhatu. The ground of all is uncompounded, and the self-arising great expanse beyond expression has neither the name samsara nor nirvana. Realizing just this, you are a Buddha. Not realizing this, you are a being wandering in samsara. I pray that all you beings of the three realms may realize the true meaning of the inexpressible ground. I, Kuntin Sampo, have realized the truth of this ground, free from cause and condition, which is just this self-arising awareness. It is unstained by outer expression and inner thought, affirmation or denial, and is not defiled by the darkness of unmindfulness. Thus, this self-manifesting display is free from defects. I, Kuntin Sampo, abide as intrinsic awareness. Even though the three realms were to be destroyed, there is no fear. There is no attachment to the five desirable qualities of sense objects. In self-arising consciousness free of thoughts, there is neither solid form nor the five poisons. In the unceasing clarity of awareness, singular in essence, there yet arises the display of the five wisdoms. From the ripening of these five wisdoms, the five original Buddha families emerge, and through the expanse of their wisdom, the 42 peaceful Buddhas appear. Through the arising power of the five wisdoms, the 60 wrathful Harukas manifest. Thus the ground awareness is never mistaken or wrong. I, Kuntin Sampo, am the original Buddha of all, and through this prayer of mine, may all you beings who wander in the three realms of samsara realize this self-arising awareness, and may your great wisdom spontaneously increase. My emanations will continuously manifest in billions of unimaginable ways, appearing in forms to help you beings who can be trained. Through my compassionate prayer, may all you beings who wander in the three realms of samsara escape from the six life forms. From the beginning, you beings are deluded because you do not recognize the awareness of the ground. Being thus unmindful of what occurs is delusion, the very state of unawareness and the cause of going astray. From this delusive state comes a sudden fainting away, and then a subtle consciousness of wavering fear. From that wavering, there arises a separation of self and the perception of others as enemies. Gradually, the tendency of separation strengthens, and from this, the circle of samsara begins. Then the emotions of the five poisons develop. The actions of these emotions are endless. You beings lack awareness because you are unmindful, and this is the basis of your going astray. Through my prayer, may all you beings recognize your intrinsic awareness. Innate unawareness means unmindfulness and distraction. Imputing unawareness means dualistic thoughts towards self and others. Both kinds of unawareness are the basis for the delusion of all beings. Through Kundin Sampo's prayer, may all you beings wandering in samsara clear away the dark fog of unmindfulness, clear away the clinging thoughts of duality. May you recognize your own intrinsic awareness. Dualistic thoughts create doubt from subtle attachment to this dualistic turn of mind. Dualistic tendencies become stronger and thicker. Food, wealth, clothes, home, and friends, the five objects of the senses, and your beloved family. All these things cause torment by creating longing and desire. These are all worldly delusions. The activities of grasping and clinging are endless. When the fruition of attachment ripens, you are born as a hungry ghost, tormented by coveting and desiring, miserable, starving, and thirsty. Through Kundin Sampo's prayer, may all you desirous and lustful beings who have attachments neither reject longing desires nor accept attachment to desires. Let your consciousness relax in its own natural state. Then your awareness will be able to hold its own and may you achieve the wisdom of perfect discernment. When external objects appear, the subtle consciousness of fear will arise. From this fear, the habit of anger becomes stronger and stronger. Finally, hostility comes, causing violence and murder. When the fruition of this anger ripens, you will suffer in hell by boiling and burning. Through Kunten Sampo's prayer, you beings of the 6 realms, when strong anger arises for you, neither reject nor accept it. Instead, relax in the natural state and achieve the wisdom of clarity. When your mind becomes full of pride, there will arise thoughts of competition and humiliation. As this pride becomes stronger and stronger, you will experience the suffering of quarrels and abuse. When the fruition of this karma ripens, you will be born in the God realms and experience the suffering of change and falling to lower rebirths. Through Kunten Sampo's prayer, may you beings who develop pride let your consciousness relax in the natural state. Then your awareness will be able to hold its own. May you achieve the wisdom of equanimity. By increasing the habit of duality, by praising yourself and denigrating others, your competitive mind will lead you to jealousy and fighting, and you will be born in the jealous God realm where there is much killing and injury. From the result of that killing, you will fall into the hell realm. Through Kunten Sampo's prayer, when jealousy and competitive thoughts arise, do not grasp them as enemies. Just relax and ease, then consciousness can hold its own natural state. May you achieve the wisdom of unobstructed action. By being distracted, careless, and unmindful, you beings will become dull, foggy, and forgetful. By being unconscious and lazy, you will increase your ignorance, and the fruition of this ignorance will be to wander helplessly in the animal realm. Through Kunten Sampo's prayer, may you beings who have fallen into the dark pit of ignorance shine the light of mindfulness and thereby achieve wisdom free from thought. All you beings of the 3 realms are actually identical to Buddha's, the ground of all. But your misunderstanding of the ground causes you to go astray, so you act without aim. The 6 karmic actions are a delusion like a dream. I am the primordial Buddha here to train the 6 kinds of being through all my manifestations. Through Kunten Sampo's prayer, may all you beings without exception attain enlightenment in the state of the Dharmadhatu. Aho! Hereafter, whenever a very powerful yogin with his or her awareness radiant and free from delusion recites this very powerful prayer, then all who hear it will achieve enlightenment within 3 lifetimes. During a solar or lunar eclipse, during an earthquake, or when the earth rumbles, at the solstices or the new year, you should visualize Kunten Sampo, and if you pray loudly so all can hear, the beings of the 3 realms will be gradually liberated from suffering through the prayer of the yogin and will finally achieve enlightenment. On page 29 in the yellow prayer book. Your 1,000 arms are the 1,000 wheel-turning kings. Your 1,000 eyes are the 1,000 Buddhas of this fortunate eon. Your love is boundless like space. I supplicate to the Bodhisattva Chenrezig.
Ileo se wang zhe jie ne, ruo jie jiang ma le ba, de ye sa la gu ba yu. Everybody sang ga teng jie, long la, shu chumore.
Thank you so much, Garchen Rinpoche. And we will see you all tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m. Arizona time for the ChiGong Yoga with Joyana, and then at 3 p.m. Arizona time with His Eminence Garchen Rinpoche for another meditation. Thank you.